Okay, let me set the stage for you. If you're new or not new to egg disclosure, basically Ross Coulthart just like threw up all over the backseat of the car. He hyped up this
of what
guy.
you're saying also
Stop that. He hyped up this guy, and it ended up not being all that it was hyped up to be. He was like, oh, we're going to have a UFO, crashed UFO. We're going to get a video of a crashed UFO. And there's no proof that it's even a UFO. Like, it's just some egg-shaped thing being picked up maybe by a helicopter, maybe. And it's like 10 seconds of video. Okay. So Deep State Ross is like one of those names where it's like, it sounds so good. You can't run away from him. Deep State Ross, like, who's Ross Coulthart? Deep State Ross. Like, that's just his, like, his pen name is his rap name. That's his rap name. Okay. Now that you understand the background, it turns out there was a bigger interview with the guy, a longer, non-sensationalized interview. Wait, let me go full screen. You did a full interview with this guy that's not sensationalized? And that for some reason not, so like this just makes it worse. Like, okay, you did an interview with him and you were like, okay, let's chop that up and turn that into a sensationalized primetime Saturday night interview where we're going to hype it up into something that it's not. What the hell? That's like me taking the Salvatore Pais interview and chopping it up and like making something up about it, about how it like proves the videos are real and having this like produced content related to it, and then selling that and like getting like 1 million views because everyone watches it. That's crazy. That's so scummy. And turns out the full interview is actually a little bit crazier. It's even crazier than what they edited, but at the same time, he says this.
Actually, there is some kind of capacity to draw incredible amounts of energy from the quantum vacuum.
I've seen it.
You've seen it.
I've seen it.
There's also obviously the capacity to use propulsion systems that.
So, okay. Why is the follow-up like, hey, when and what context did you see the devices that are pulling energy from the vacuum? Is it okay? I'll let Ross finish because I want to rant, but go ahead.
That are far beyond what we're describing.
Yeah, that seems to be the case as well.
Anti-gravity.
Anti-gravity.
They know about it. Anti-gravity, 0-point energy. Implications of what you're saying also are that potentially.
Okay. So guys, let me help you out. So for my people in the audience right now who are blue-pilled as hell, my blue-pilled boys and girls out there, Ross Coulthart is Deep State Ross. Right off the bat, I can already tell they've already had many pre-existing conversations, and that most of this interview is basically scripted out. Like, step 1, we're going to ask you this. Step 2, we're going to ask you this. Step 3, we're going to ask you this. At least if you are going to have a scripted interview, make it sound natural. Like if somebody tells you, hey, I've seen a free energy device that's pulling energy out of the quantum vacuum, first of all, you shouldn't lead them. You don't need to lead them to that. Just let them say it themselves. And then you should ask them a follow-up question. Like, okay, whose device did you see? When did you see it? Where did you see it? The fact that that's not the follow-up question right here is super weird. And then Ross Coulthart does his own, like adds his own commentary here to the second half. So I'm going to play this one more time because there's so much unpacked in just a 30-second clip. And this is the reason why people are watching me. This is why I'm asking you now to like and subscribe. Because you know what? Fuck it. We're going to just get rid of these people. This garbage is going to go away. It's going to become obsolete. And we're going to start the new media. And if you're somebody out there who wants to be involved in media and you think you have an entertaining personality, but you can still educate people, then get in touch with me. Get in touch. Let's do it. I'm tired of this bullshit. Let's listen to this again.
There is some kind of capacity to draw incredible amounts of energy from
I've seen it.
The quantum vacuum.
I've seen it.
You've seen it.
I've seen it.
I've seen it. Where? When? I mean, come on, man. It's so obvious that, like, okay, you already know the answers, because otherwise that's the only question on anyone's mind watching that is like, where, when, what's the context, what was it, what did it look like?
There's also obviously
and to say this to follow up, it's like, oh, there's obviously this cover up of 0 Point Energy. I mean, yes, there is, but why is Ross Coulthart saying this like it's obvious? Ross Coulthart, I've never heard Ross Coulthart say these words before. I don't think I've ever heard him say 0 Point Energy before. But now he's acting like he's the arbiter and the disclosure of 0 Point Energy.
the capacity to use propulsion systems that are far beyond what we're describing.
Yeah, that seems to be the case as well.
Anti-gravity.
Anti-gravity.
They know about it. Anti-gravity, 0 Point Energy. Implications of what.
Does anyone get the feeling like these guys are trying to steal the narrative? Am I being paranoid? Am I being paranoid, guys? Chat, like, it feels like they're trying to steal the narrative. It feels like we're like Alex Jones right now, but like 100% correct. Alex Jones has been wrong a few times, but like we're 100% correct. Also, beetles and bugs are using anti-gravity. I don't care if the community noted me. Fuck you. They're definitely not using bird flight. There's no way that the fucking fat roach bug is using conventional bird flight. 0% chance they're using anti-gravity. By the way, also, so basically we're like anti-Alex Jones, and they're trying to like, they're like, oh shit, he got one right. They're like, shit, this guy Ashton Forbes came out and he found a major conspiracy that's real. And shit, we gotta grab the narrative. Like Ross Coulthart's acting like he's been saying 0 Point Energy is the energy source for UFOs for like years, but this is the first time I've ever heard him say it. And the fact that he's bringing this up and he won't talk to me about it when I'm like, I mean, guys, who is above me on the 0 Point Energy influencer list? Like, I guess you could make an argument for like Nassim Haramein. Who else? No one. No one. I look on social media. I don't see anyone talking about 0 Point Energy. It's just kind of weird. It's just kind of weird, and it feels, yeah. And Hal's probably the number one. I mean, obviously Hal's number one, but when it comes to influencing on social media, Hal's not really present, right? So I don't know. Pretty weird. Yeah, Greer. I mean, Greer is honestly probably, yeah, he's above me. So I'm maybe top 5. Maybe we're being generous. I don't know. But that's the thing, too, is that in this interview today, you're going to see, hopefully if I skip past it, I'll just tell you right now, Salvatore Pais says that Stephen Greer is mostly correct, that he agrees with Stephen Greer and thinks that it's weird that people have been attacking Stephen Greer. But it's not that weird. It's not weird at all. The reason why people are attacking Stephen Greer is he's attacking the technology and the money. He's going after the deep state people who've got the money, who've got the technology. So what are they going to do in response? They're going to ruin his life. They're going to get everyone to make up rumors about him. And they're going to make sure nobody listens to him and everybody calls him a grifter. And this is the next thing I want to say is, okay, I shared that video that I just showed you guys. And a lot of people were going, oh, you believe this person? They're not credible. And actually, I didn't see any of these comments, but I expected people to say, weren't you just shitting on this guy? No, I wasn't shitting on him at all. I never shat on Jake Barber. Go back and watch the live stream. Instead, I mean, I did say he has some Paku eyes, but he does. It's funny. It's a joke. Okay? But I was shitting on Ross Coulthart and the whole production of NewsNation did around the interview. I think you should interview whoever you want. But I don't think you should hype something up to be the next thing that it's not. That's the difference. That's the difference between what Ross Coulthart was doing and, you know, other stuff that's out there. So, if they had just shown the whole video, I would never have had any problem with the interview at all. But I probably would have made fun of them going in on the psionic stuff. But the 0 Point Energy aspect of it is the secret. And it feels like these guys are trying to grab this narrative and get in front of it because we've kind of figured it out at this point. And if you go anywhere on social media or anywhere where people are talking about it, you see people going, MH370 got zapped by orbs, 0 Point Energy, free energy devices. And you're seeing that not because of me, but because of you guys. It's you guys that are doing that. Do you guys realize that? It's you. I mean, sure, I have lots of views, but I'm just one person. It's all of you guys retweeting, sharing, talking about it. I see a lot of your guys' pings when I check Twitter. It's like people pinging you on stuff. Like that's you guys making that splash. It's the power of, you know, social media and human connections in this day and age that's doing it. So, okay. See, look at that. I spun that into a positive chat. We're having a good Friday night. Cheers, everybody. I'm not even drinking tonight. This is just coffee. Coffee with ice cream in it. Let's do some super chats. Arthur Jones, hang in there, brother. Keep up the good work. Wish you could get on the Danny Jones podcast. I can tell you're a new follower. I can tell you're a new follower. How does Ashton know that this is a new follower, guys? Nah, I don't think I'll be talking to Danny Jones again. I mean, he's okay. I wish him the best. I wish him the best, but man, I don't know. Maybe we'll look back one day and we'll laugh and it was all one big misunderstanding. But when you look at it from my perspective, it looks like somebody made a phone call and said to call in the hit job on this guy. That's what it looks like from my perspective. You know, that's how it looks like it played out. So if you haven't watched it, go ahead and watch it.